And nonetheless, this is your main course. As Zambia and Botswana go head to head, it's Chipolo Polo against the Zebras, who will have the final say. Of course, Zambia taking the goals to the right in their famed orange and black kit, while Botswana are in their blue and white, taking the goals to left. Alongside me, Skuket is done a quick jog up the stairs very quickly and breathing ever so nicely as well to show the level of his fitness. And I heard you speak about match sharpness and fitness. Can Botswana withstand the freshness of the Zambian side?
It's a big question. For me, the only question that I do have, or that I pose to the coach, is what did they do to regenerate and help the players to regain a little bit of freshness coming into this game. And obviously, what the COSAFA organizing committee could have done better is to allow Mozambique and Bafana to play this game, just to allow Botswana that additional day of recovery. I think that would have helped them a great deal. But with that said, this is what it is, and they've got to make do with what they have. It's football. Football, and we confirm, anything is possible in this game. That's the beauty of this game.
Like that, Nyega will confirm, which means you can never be sure where the bounce of the ball will take you. And, well, historically, the Zambians will look to their record and say, we are confident of beating Botswana, given the fact over the course of their participation over the 5 encounters that they've had, it's gone in favor for Chipolo Polo. 5 wins from 5 allotted matches. Overall, they've played 15 games, and it's still in favor of Zambia with 8 wins and only 3 for Botswana, with a couple of draws sandwiched in between there. 2 balls on the pitch there. The referee Buddy here to pick that up. The game does continue with Botswana on the front foot via their full back. And a man that they look towards quite heavily as well in midfield, from fullback to midfield, Khape Tiperi, who is 22 years of age, one of those from the Gaborone United Football Club. 80% of the squad is made up of the Gaborone United
players in the starting lineup. That tells the story. I mean, it's a situation that I use all around the world, basically, that if you have a successful team as a national team coach, you try and pick certain combinations that will work in your favor, because they've been playing together competitively and they've had success. And so you don't have to work too much, because remember, when you assemble a national team, you bring players from different teams with different styles. So if you pick a few that can combine very well in certain positions, then you use that advantage.
I can tell you one country that does not conform to that, being the Republic of South Africa. A lot of the national team comes from various sides rather than one core team. That first cross of the game from the right-hand side via the right foot of Alfred Velapi. Another one from Gaborone United, has played 165 minutes of tournament football.
He's done well throughout the game.
Yeah.
He's one of those full-backs that come up with overlapping runs, and they create a little width for the team. And what does in turn is to help the players playing in the wings to play a little bit narrow, meaning that when he crosses the ball, the chances of players available for the second ball are high.
Botswana looking to put the early press on the Zambian defense, who will rely heavily on jersey 10, Ricky Banda, the top goal scorer in the Zambian Super League. He pillaged 15 goals from the allotted 34. Another one from the Red Arrows, a contingent pass to the center, nearly finding Kelvin Kapamba. He's from Zesco United. Oh, heavy touch from the goalkeeper. That's what happens when you put pressure. Maybe a bit of nerves here, Willie.
In fact, I'm very disappointed with the defender. It was like the goalkeeper can have the ability to deal with his hand, and he had to use his skill, Poco, to control it first, but under a bit of pressure.
Interestingly, historically, if you look at the archives of these two sides and their participation in this auspicious tournament, nice run from out to in there by Joshua Mutale in the midfield 3 alongside Kelvin Kapumbu and Prince Mumba. This is the 9th time that the Zebras have made it to the quarterfinal stages of the Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup, dating back since 1997. I think that was the year you were born in.
I can confidently say that 2 years later, I was a part of this competition, and I've enjoyed the privilege of being a part of it for just about all the time. 21 years now that the competition is turned, and we come a long way.
What was interesting about the Botswana journey is that they had to wait 7 years since the maiden tournament to make it past the group stages. Their first quarterfinals berth back in 2003, as William Shongwe mentions. Now here's a promising attack from the right. That is a taken foul. When you apply pressure, you either crumble or you stand tall. He hit the ground after being illegally fouled. That was Talani.
Now, here's the situation I mentioned earlier, that possibly maybe Botswana might take advantage of set pieces. I mentioned as well that defensively, Zambia, when it comes to dealing with high balls into the area, they've not really covered themselves with any form of glory. And instead, that's where Botswana is strongest aerially.
I find it interesting that Botswana has started this game, I think, slightly more stronger than Zambia because they are more match fit in terms of competition fitness. I'm not really shocked that they have made headway quickest between the two, because Zambia, in the build-up to this, they had a 3-week camp in Lusaka, I'm reliably told, and but have not played any competitive football leading to this. But then it could be that Coach Mpote said start quick, so when we fade, we've done the good hard yards.
Indeed, that's a good plan to go with while you still have the energy. See if you can head them. And that's the other challenge of a team arriving into a competition that has already been going for a week. That is the Zambians. Whatever they might have done in training, it's only just being tested now.
Good point. Now they will be tested from a corner. Expect an in-swinger. 6 white shirts, expectant of a good delivery. It is long, it is deep. Easily into the hands of a 29-year-old Mwenya Chibwe.
A player that we haven't spoken about, a quality top goalkeeper that is featured very prominently in South Africa. Started with Cosmos and later went on with Polokwane City, and I think there was another team beside Polokwane City that he played for, but quality goalkeeper, and obviously was never going to get the chance. He was born in South Africa. I think his father is of Zambian origin, but his mother is of South African origin. You know, that's just the story surrounding that. But he saw the opportunity to align himself with the Zambian side because he had an opportunity to play, and there he is now, the number 1.
He's now in the books of Zesco United after his South African exploits. Foul this time around on Godfrey Nanko Tayatswala, which roughly means the lion is
born. The lion's born.
The lion is born.
I
Player
took the
from
time.
PDF 11. Yeah, you took the time to see. You did your research. Really.
You know, because I'm thinking there must be something behind his name.
Beautiful name. There's such eclectic nature and the vibrancy of our people, our African people, and this competition brings it all together. Looking to knit it all together for Zambia. Come hook or crook, it doesn't matter. It hits the back of the net. It is Chipolo Polo who fired the first shot. I think it was Ricky Panda who forced matters against the run of play, someone said.
Yeah, it ricochets up, you know, from the upright, and the on-running striker makes it. I'm not even sure, it might have been an own goal at that, but we still will have the chance to see exactly what happens here. Stunned is Botswana, so is Poko, the goalkeeper. He fires from a tight angle. It's from the Botswana defender. I think it's Kopelang, if I'm not mistaken, the youngster.
Yeah, Tebogo Kopelang with unfortunate OG for the security system player. What an unfortunate way to concede a goal, but I'll tell you what, Moses Mwape Sichone will not care a bit. His side has taken the lead, William.
Doesn't matter how it goes in. They all count.
Now, I asked you the question on the drive to the stadium, and I said, that's a foul that referee Pandi has picked up. Botswana in their 3 games in the group stages have scored first. They've scored only 3 goals overall in their 3 matches, winning 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. But they've scored first in all the 3 games. What happens when they have to chase?
Basically, they've been prepared to build from a chasing point of view, and at a time when we suspect that they might not be able to have the legs to really play that high intensive, that basically means an excellent comeback of the highest kind.
That was a purposeful run by Ricky Banda, who looks like a player who's full of confidence, has been given the responsibility to lead the artillery of Chipolopolo. Guess we can call him the trigger man.
Well, they're the copper bullets.
Exactly.
Somebody needs to trigger, to pull the trigger.
I think if memory serves it correctly, this is the second own goal in the competition thus far. The first one going to Malawian Sankani Mkandawire. The second, unfortunately, will go down or choked next to the name of Tebuho Kopelang.
Just a young defender that has just graduated into the national side and has had a brilliant tournament. I mean, if you talk of them playing 3 games and having not conceded between Kebu and Kopelang, were very key. Obviously, it's a team effort, but they're the ones that were the driving force behind it all. And for this to happen in the early stages of this game, you've got to know, you've got to understand just how much deflecting it can be.
Can confirm he is the youngest player of the starting 11 today at the tender age of 20 years of age.
He's 20 years and he's wearing jersey number 20.
Good or bad omen? I don't know. Captain, in 5 years as senior, Kibwe. What can Coach Mpote's side conjure up here? As I mentioned, their mettle and confidence will be tested, given the fact that they've held the lead in the competition in the previous 3 games. This unfamiliar territory for the Zebras. Kopelang, they slow it down, can't find any points of entry. Zambia not looking at all to wrestle away the early advantage that they've garnered here. Nice knee turn on that left hand side via Kelvin Kampamba.
I think it's the best way that Botswana can do right now. If they're going to have the opportunity to recycle the ball successfully defensively, and obviously when you have ball position, it means you're in control of the game. You don't run as much. It's only the team that is chasing that weighs down much quicker. So I think each time they're holding it defensively, it's the right way about it. And wait for the right moments to get the likes of Tauyatswala up front to be able to throw a long pass to him.
Although this may be a relatively new side that Zambia is putting together, they're still steeped in so much history and pedigree in this competition. I mean, they won the first 2 editions back 97, 98, about 25 years ago and counting. And outside of that, it was only the year 2021, I think, in Quebec, where they just couldn't get out of the group stages. Other than that, they've always been in the conversation for title tilt.
Listen, if you are as old as I am and you've had that international view, obviously coming from Eswatini, where we used to play the Zambians, even as a youngster, listening on the radio, playing the Zambian side was always scary. You know, growing up just knowing that my country is going to be playing Zambia, there were days when they used to hit us like 8-0. And I mean, there were big guns, the great players that comes from the Zambian side. Like I said earlier, these players know exactly What kind of shoes are they stepping into? There's lots of footballing history that comes from this country. The repeaters.
Interestingly, that it's going to get to historic stat and beautiful movement, good footwork. Good penetrative play here from Zambia, looking confident, looking effective, looking efficient. That's Joshua Mudale, who almost benefited from that particular move.
Very skillful. Twist and turns to clear himself from the defender before he could snatch a shot. Brilliant. It's the level of sharpness that they bring into this game. There's individuals beside the team tactics that they do bring here. But you've got individuals that can turn the magic on their own. It's always a privilege to have those players that have the ability to take 1, 2, 3 players, because you find other teams that are sitting, that defensively are very tight, that you can't break them down with combinations. You just need individual brilliance.
Cooper a bit of space. It's allowed to turn. Wasteful from Bakedi Talani, who has 1 goal to his name. Scored against Comor Islands, the 22-year-old. I was going to say, William, you mentioned how terrifying that both sides of Zambia have been statistically. You look at their biggest win in the competition, it was a 4-0 win against Malawi 25 years ago. Heaviest defeat against Zimbabwe in 2018 in a 6-goal thriller that went in favor of Zimbabwe. I think we were in commentary, in fact, for that game in New Peter Mokaba Stadium, 2018. If you can go back in your young memory. You're still thinking. I'm telling you, you were there. I can't remember.
Here's the thing. I've seen a number of generational players.
Yeah.
You know, over the years.
It's unfortunate. There was nice play there from the Zebras, from back to forward, and 2 or 3 passes to find a man in space, but just couldn't keep his run onside. Benson Mangolo played 270 minutes of Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup football. Here's Banda, loses out over a quarter of an hour here to the Kings Welitini Stadium. It is Zambia that hold the advantage via an unfortunate ricochet. Depending on which side of the fence you sit, unfortunate or unfortunate. And I can tell you with definitive confidence is that Zambia are 1 goal to the good, regardless of how the goal came. It's a Benedict Chipeshi, skippers the side for Coach Sichone. The one thing I've noticed, William, Botswana just need a bit of a foothold in midfield, just to get the confidence going and the belief that they can go pound for pound with the Zambian side, despite trailing. It's Sautu. One side of the pitch, the Zambians are searching. They're seeking, looking to launch another missile aimed in the direction of the Zebras. Or is it a mini copper bullet? Nice run, Prince Mumba. Confidence from Chipolo Polo. Getting stuck into their work. Everybody getting a touch of the ball. Channeling their inner Oprah, you get a touch, everybody gets a touch.
And some of those touches might look very unmeaningful, but with every touch that the team has, or even direction, it unsettles the opposition in the way that they're structured. And eventually that is when the opening starts to come. It's just a way of trying to dissect the opposition. Like I said, every movement basically means that they will shift, and some of the shiftings defensively cannot, maybe will be on point.
Just like that, they were able to get it to their right back and then get a cross in. Wasn't the best of crosses, but the intent and the pattern of play for all to see. 10 before the half hour.
Look at where it started. It looked to be shifting a little to the left, and suddenly, and what happens when you shift it to the left? The whole movement of the opposition shifts to that side, and it opens up on the far side, and that's where this ball came from.
Forced into a rare mistake. The cheap whip. Of course, Botswana beating the Seychelles in the opening game of the competition. Another move to be thwarted by the officials' offside flag. This time around, the culprit being Udirile Lekoba. Khadira Udirile. And Kibue with a 49th minute difference maker in that matchday 1 win, followed by another 1-0 win against the Comoro Islands. Talani this time on the score sheet. Goalkeeper Huitione Poko, the only keeper in the tournament accredited with a goal. He converted from 12 yards out in the 69th minute against Angola.
Listen, regardless of which way this game goes, there's a lot of courage that Botswana can take from this tournament. Remember, this is not their best team. They've induced a lot of young players in trying to build up their pool of players that will go on to be selected for the other competitions coming up. So, already experience that these players picked, they will add to the value of what is already existing into the Botswana camp. So, there's a lot of positive that they can pick up.
Well, I can tell you now, Ricky Banda, Joshua Mutale, puppet masters on the Zambian side. The way they are pulling the Botswana defenders in various directions and then making off-the-ball runs.
Decisive fast eventually.
Yeah.
Defense splitting to get into the runner. The timing, I mean, the 2 weeks is well spent, it looks like. Pity their coach is not here. But like I say, Shishane, having been there with them as well, I'm sure can use quite a bit of the structure that the coaches did set up. It's just continuation of where they come from.
There he is again, Mutale. 2 touches, moves it on. Nearly a moment of magic from the diminutive one, and nearly a moment of nightmarish proportions from the Botswana player there, leaving Poko a bit short. He's got a sore ankle for his troubles.
Now, how that decision comes about, it's purely anticipation from Banda in how he read the action way early, that the defender is highly pressurized, that the only outlet that the defender had was to play back to the keeper. He was already on his bike anticipating that. That's why he was able to put the goalkeeper under that sort of pressure. That now is football intelligence, being able to anticipate the next phase of the game. It
trickles into the grateful hands of Huitione Poko.
That's a good throw.
Yep. I'll say it again, that midfield just haven't come into the game yet. I mean, there's so much emphasis on Lebogang Ditsele, who wears number 18. You can't miss him with the blonde hair, the center of that midfield. I mean, I saw him in the game against Comoro Islands as well as Seychelles. He absolutely bossed them, moved them at will, but he's found his matches here in Zambia.
He's a player that plays his best game when he's got the space in front of him. He's got this elevation about him that he can see things from a long way off.
That's a pass. Now, what will be followed after that? Let's go defending. Momentarily clear their lines, do the Zebras. But the pressure just keeps coming from the orange shirts of Chipolo Polo. Aided by referee Buddy's whistle.
So talking about Ditele's and his elevated structure that I see things, you see the overview of what's happening in front of him. But now when you got players in front of you like the Zambians are playing, I mean, they in close proximity, they don't give him that opportunity to see further than just 10 yards away. And which is a ploy, I think that is going to work in their favor. You identify players that are dangerous, he's got the ability to come up with the pass. But if you block the source, then it means everybody in front of him is cut out of the action.
Always new and extravagant man, William Shongwe, saying elevated height or elevated. What's the word you use?
View?
Elevated view. You could just say he's tall. Jeez, William Shongwe.
It's a lack of vocabulary.
I'll keep it moving swiftly. It's Ditele. Cooper, we need a bit more from Cooper and Ditele. The Republic of Botswana need more from Ditele, Cooper and Tiberi at midfield trident. The two of them come from the same team in Dipedi, as well as Ditele. While Mutusi Cooper, who wears the number 15 jersey, is the only player in the Botswana setup. Applies his trade outside of Botswana. He plays in Morocco for Moladia Club Oja.
Which is what I said earlier, that two more players are playing in that league in Morocco that are not here. So there's quite a few other very outstanding players that are not part of this system. And imagine when those are up in going forward, then they will have had the experience of these young ones that now have had a few games into their legs, and then better performance, I'm sure.
4 minutes before half an hour, game has settled into a tone. Zambia more efficient and more confident with ball at feet. Botswana looking to keep their shape and not concede a second, but don't be fooled, they still possess a threat going forward. But most of the threat is coming from the side in orange. Here's the latest one, Kelvin Kampumpu gets a corner. He's had to do a lot of defending as the captain, Tato Kibue.
So I was telling the technical staff of the Zambian side, as they told me that yes, they've got the copper bullets that will shoot down the zebras. Then I told them, but be aware that the zebra's back kick is dangerous.
That's a good one. Beware the kick of the zebra.
Yes.
I like that, William Shongwe.
They might kick from a defensive position. They kick better when they're running away.
Good point. Somebody's been watching National Geo, I see. A bit of skillful play and showmanship from Kampampa. Which all ends up with him holding his head in disagreement with the officials. Well, decision in the end. You mentioned some of the key players for Botswana. I mean, Moshe Khaulwale, or you look at Mwakalori Ngele, some of the older veterans, if you can call them that, of the side who are not part of the 2022 or class of 2022.
Orebonye,
yeah.
Khamanyan.
Ditokwe.
Oh man, this is endless. Now you're talking to me. So I made the point, and yet I didn't quite bring in the details to justify the point I was making.
Movement, this time from the left-hand side. Turns this man inside out. Can you say washing line? Disappointing shot in the end. It's a bit of a dud from Kelvin Kampamba, the Zesco United attacker. Really do have skillful players in Zambia, and so does Botswana, but I think we see more from the Zambian attackers than we are from the Zebras. We're still waiting for that kick, that back kick that William Shongwe speaks of. Will it come here? Block. Back to where they were. Ditele. This is what he does well, spreads play.
Yes.
Then occupies a position to progress play. Missed. Chance here for Botswana! Outside of the foot. Not far for Godfrey Nanko Tayatswala. Almost birth a chance there from Tayatswala.
I think maybe the only thing that didn't quite work out in his favor, that he hit it on the volley, half volley that it was, and you see, as it bounced off, and that sometimes has a tendency to spill either side of the foot, but still threatening enough with Chibwe off his line.
Good idea from him. Pace. Too hard to handle for Prince Mumba Ditele. Now Botswana turning it on to the appreciation of a small convergent crowd here, the Kings Willie Stadium in Umlazi. That is a kick. That's much better from Zebras. I think Coach Muhammad's important. That's it. More of the same, please.
Indeed. The thing is that from the previous games that we've seen, we know they can play, but what might be playing into their minds negatively is the fact that how long can we last? Maybe let's just play conservatively so that we can last a little bit longer. And unfortunately, that could work negatively. I mean, what we've just seen now is the quality that we know they can produce, and they had Zambia on the back foot.
Just over half an hour, and it's Zambia and Botswana. This quarter-final clash. This is the 6th time that these sides have met in the COSAFA Cup. And it is Chipolo Polo that hold the advantage of an own goal from Tebogo Kopelang. It's been Zambia that have been in the pound seat. And over the last 5 minutes or so, the Zebras have come out to forage. Not the only one who watches National Geo, Willie.
I'm sorry you could have used this simpler word.
Well, after you said a heightened what of what, I was like, no ways. Competition on. Vincent Mankholo. Keeper comes out momentarily, but then decides to just stick to his position. Easily grappled in the end. I think another point of entry could be set pieces and the usage of set pieces for these two sides. There's good play from Khape Tiperi. They have definitely come alive for Botswana in the last couple of minutes. I don't know what the message has been to the 11 that is on the pitch, but it's working. It's working.
That was the whole idea, to say, see what you can do with the first 20 or 30 minutes of the game, and then apply the necessary pressure. But unfortunately that didn't go accordingly. But I think it's only now that the players are remembering that, by the way, we don't have all the time in the world. Let's see, we can, exhaust what we have, and maybe we can profit. It's a set piece.
And by the way, we're the only side in the competition to come from the group stages with a 100% record, unbeaten. Should be confident. Hey, confidence is a brittle thing at the highest level. That should be cleared, and it is. Now with the pacey Mutale. 2 versus 3. Mutale selfish. Seconds picked up by Kampamba. In space is the Prince of the Southern Province, Spencer Sautu. The go-to man, Benedict Chipeshi, makes a run forward back to the Prince of the Southern Province, Sautu. That's wasteful.
Nobody home.
Yeah,
which was the
wasteful.
idea, to build up on this side and then immediately swing it to the opposite side. But no one was in the same wavelength with the defender, who it's something that we saw earlier, working so successfully. Build up on the one channel and swing the ball to the opposite.
Almost got into space. Balkedi to Talani, the 22-year-old attacker. I need to get him, I think, 1v1 more with Chamanga. There's the big switch to speak of. Here come the copper bullets. Teases his man, but says, I've seen this trick before. Nothing to see here from Alfred Velapi. Velapi, 23 years of age. from Gaborone United. Earlier, that move from deep in their own half, William Shongwe.
Let me tell you, Mr. Boy, we are so privileged. Every now and then we get fed with information. Miss Loiline obviously occasionally visits our box, and just to uplift us a little bit, refresh us with information. She's one of the ladies that is handling the Twitter space for the competition, and has been running up and down, delivering the information on a continuous basis. And we're privileged.
We are highly privileged. If it's not your highly exorbitant and highly extravagant English, we're also blessed with nice fun facts as well. We thank you very much. That stat that she just passed on to us. I mentioned it a bit earlier that 5 games, this is the 6th in the COSAFA Cup, have all gone in favor of Zambia. Speaking of Zambia, they're on the ball here.
The other thing about some of these facts, that comes from previous games. I mean, Botswana up against Angola. Angola had never beaten Botswana. So Botswana had that in the back of their mind, as well as Angola is playing so well, but you know, they haven't beaten us. They've never beaten us. And that was a thorn into the Angolan side as well. Talking to the coach earlier, he mentioned that, and I thought, wow, I hope that doesn't play negatively into their minds, and it did.
I'll ask you a question. Here's Banda. It's Banda play. Great block there from the defender Kopolani, atoning for his earlier sins. That's as good as a goal, really, that block, because Banda was in. Kampamba. That's outside the box of Botswana, Zambia. There's a stat for you as well, and continue with that theme. A total of 31 clean sheets in the competition have Chipolo Polo, dating back to their first ever competition in 1997, roughly about a 50% ratio. They only failed to score in 19 matches that they've played in the competition. And I wanted to ask you this, we'll go through more stats. Of course, they've played 62 games, this is the 63rd in the COSAFA history. Oh, mistake. Keeper comes out, had to, did so well just to put off a man who saw his name in lights. The Prince of the Southern Province thought he had written his name in the headlights, but Khutshwane Poko just got a fingertip. Just put him off at the key moment.
Excellent goalkeeping. It's being able to read the situation in front of you and making the decision to come out. And the other thing, he comes out with his hands, which most goalkeepers don't get to do. They always attack their oncoming player with their feet. He applies it with his hands. You know, the hands have a bigger base to be able to deflect the ball. And if anything happens that you get kicked in the face or something like that, it's in your favor, unlike when you go with your feet. The advantage turns into the attacking player, because you might be viewed as having kicked him.
Now, Willie, if you look at Botswana's record, as we see some of the dignitaries, I see the Malawian coach, Mr. Marian Marnika, his side did finish off the job against Mauritius. We feel as if they should have been in this particular juncture of the competition, but coulda, shoulda, they didn't. It's the Zebras that face Zambia.
I don't know if you're already here when they drew against Eswatini.
Eswatini, yeah.
And that post-match interview.
Oh, from the coach.
Oh, he held nothing back.
He was not a happy man. Oh, saying players need to stop play acting. They are more actors than players. After, I think it was a penalty decision that went his way, against his team.
Yes.
Not happy at all.
And I hope he sat at home afterwards and watched the replay, just to maybe get a little bit of an indifferent
So inviting ball from the right-hand side. Now, Willie, have you mentioned all of these stats that we've just gone through? For instance, Botswana's biggest victory in the competition is a 6-0 win against Mauritius in 2018. How much do stats and history play in the minds of professional footballers? Let's say you're up against a side like Zambia, who played Botswana 5 times and have won 5 times. How much does that play in the back of one's mind if history's against you, basically? Foul on that man, Spencer Sautu.
It's a point I made earlier about the Angolan side against Botswana. The fact that, even if it happened a while back, the fact that the stats speaks negatively against them when they're coming to play a certain team, it is a factor. Psychologically, it plays negatively. But it shouldn't be the case. It's a new game. It's a new game altogether. I mean, how Angola started here. They had no business. Nobody ever even thought that they could be out of the competition by now. But because of that negative thinking leading to the game, because of the previous stats, I think it's one of the factors that worked against them. Though we can review it differently in as far as other factors that could have played a role.
Here's Mutale. He's been a key figure, a spearhead in this Zambian offensive effort in the opening 41 minutes. Here's a chance now for Botswana via Lekoba. Good recovery pace by the defender there. Otherwise, something could have developed. It's Dominic Chanda of Kobwe Warriors, 26 years of age, defender.
Kabwe Warriors.
Kabwe Warriors, yeah.
The team of the past. They were deadly.
Deadly team. Well, the team of the present right now is Red Arrows.
I know. And they're obviously breaking new grounds.
That's the
team of the moment.
No, the team of the moment, and the champions, current champions of the Zambian Super League.
And there was once a team, of course, Mufulira Wanderers.
I remember that one.
I know they've been in and out of the league in recent times, but the team of old, when football was almost fully professional in Zambia, because they were subsidized by the mines. The players, they didn't work at all. I mean, Mufulira is a mine team, so that was a full-time job. And those teams were untouchable. I'm talking about Warriors one, of course, and the list goes on. Vitaform is another. And man, the list, I'll remember them bit by bit.
That was before my time. I'm just letting you go through the history books, testing your memory.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure if we can even Google that. So,
look, what I can tell you, is the team of present.
Yes,
Red Arrows have wrestled away the power base in Zambian football from Zesco United, after pipping them to the title, getting 20 wins from 34 to clinch the Zambian Super League title. Zesco came second, followed by Green Eagles. Ricky Banda pillaging 15 goals. Moses Piri of Zanaco as well, another team that also used to feature quite heavily back in the headlines in terms of the representation of the best from Zambia.
Did.
Friday, Samu of Green Buffaloes missed out of the Golden Boot by 3 goals.
And I'm talking about the days of KK11, before they became Chipolopon.
Thank you, the walking encyclopedia, William Shongwe. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 seconds before the half ends. It's been a very enthralling watch from wherever you may be taking it from.
As much as Zambia's shown an upper hand, but I can tell you that beside that goal, that obviously was considered in a way that maybe Botswana will not be too happy with themselves, but I feel like it hasn't been a real open game in as far as the Zambians are concerned. They still are there and there. Yes, they have an upper hand, but I think Botswana has stood their ground.
I think they were stunned a bit, or they were in awe of the Zambian side in the opening 15-20 minutes or so. I think once they reminded themselves, hey look, we're here for a reason, we are one of the better sides here, then you could see the confidence flooding back and almost muscle memory in Dominic Chanda, 26-year-old. I think they must not let their heads drop. 60 seconds of injury time. Coach Mbote will have one hell of a halftime team talk though on his shoulders. Just keep the belief going. I mentioned confidence at the highest level is quite a brittle thing. Even the greatest of greats doubt themselves. It's Mbote. I don't know what be going through his mind. I know what's going through Benson Mangolo's mind. Wants to get the ball forward, and he will not get a chance to do so anymore in this half as referee Nicolo Padi blows the halftime whistle. And the luckiest of on goals from Tebogo Kopelang, who the record books will show was the goal scorer of the first in this quarter-final clash between Zambia and Botswana. From there on, Zambia got stuck into the work as Chipolo Polo really looked to hammer home the advantage. But Botswana, as I mentioned, refound their form and refocused themselves and made a fist of it in the last 10 minutes of their half to ensure that it is still a game that will give us much to talk about. At the halftime break, it's 1 Zambia, 0 Botswana.
Ready for Shampopo and spinning with Hollywood bets? Play Spinner Zonke online now and enter our world of fantasy. Is hot fruit a favorite of yours? Be your own king with COSAFA. Or try your luck at the Wealth Inn. With hundreds of exciting games to choose from, there is something for everyone. Get spinning now with Hollywood Bets and Spinner Zonke.
She's a crime writer.
Okay, but the old man must be killed tonight.
Yeah, well, the price has gone up. 25 grand cash.
And murder follows.
Except I'm talking about a plot to kill someone. I just heard it on the phone.
Wherever she goes.
Are you a reporter?
Crime is my beat. Murder my specialty.
She thinks there's gonna be a murder here in Cabot Cove. Cabin fever. Had to happen.
She writes about it.
His gun was used to kill Mr. Talmadge.
It's very incriminating.
And she solves it. But now, nosy Jessica finds herself in danger.
Is that your solution? To kill me?
Murder, She Wrote, Monday to Friday at 2.
Like, we're trying to show the women out there that we're fearless, you know. We're not scared. We can see that there's a lot going on in our country right now. We're trying to bring a lot of hope back. And I think that's why it's becoming a bit more personal for our South Africans. If we win this, we're trying to bring the country together, to unite the country.
Madagascar already turning their attentions to, well, from eye on the prize to some sightseeing now, because they've been knocked out after Namibia took them out. They'll be then playing the plate, and nonetheless, this is your main course as Zambia and Botswana go head to head. It's Chipolo Polo against the Zebras, who will have the final say. Of course, Zambia taking the goals to the right in their famed orange and black kit, while Botswana are in their blue and white, taking the goals to left. Alongside me, School Cat is done a quick jog up the stairs very quickly and breathing ever so nicely as well to show the level of his fitness. And I heard you speak about match sharpness and fitness. Can Botswana withstand the freshness of the Zambian side?
It's a big question. For me, the only question that I do have that I pose to the coach is what did they do to regenerate and help the players to regain a little bit of freshness coming into this game. And obviously what the COSAFA organizing committee could have done better is to allow Mozambique and Bafana to play this game, just to allow Botswana that additional day of recovery. I think that would have helped them a great deal. But with that said, this is what it is, and they've got to make do with what they have. It's football, and we confirm anything is possible in this game. That's the beauty of this game.
I like that. Nyega will confirm, which means you can never be sure where the bounce of the ball will take you. Beautiful name. There's such eclectic nature and the vibrancy of our people, our African people, and this competition brings it all together. Looking to knit it all together for Zambia. Come hook or crook, it doesn't matter. It hits the back of the net. It is Chipolo Polo who fired the first shot. I think it was Ricky Panda who forced matters against the run of play, some will say.
Yeah, it ricochets up, from the upright, and the on-running striker makes it. I'm not even sure, it might have been an own goal at that, but we still will have the chance to see exactly what happens here. Stunt is Botswana, so is Poco, the goalkeeper. He fires from a tight angle. It's from the Botswana defender. I think it's Kopelang, if I'm not mistaken, the youngster.
Yeah, Tebogo Kopelang with the unfortunate OG.
The repair status.
Interestingly, that it's going to get to historic stat and beautiful movement, good footwork. Penetrative play here from Zambia, looking confident, looking effective, looking efficient. That's Joshua Mudale, almost benefited from that particular move.
Very skillful, twist and turns to clear himself from the defender before he could snatch a shot.
Then we are from the Zebras. We're still waiting for that kick, that back kick that William Shonga speaks of. Will it come here? Block. Back to where they were. Ditsele. This is what he does well. Spreads play.
Yes.
Then occupies a position to progress play. Missed. Chance here for Botswana. Outside of the foot. Not far for Godfrey Nanko Tayatswala. Almost birthed a chance there from Tayatswala.
I think maybe the only thing that didn't quite work out in his favor, that he hit it on the volley, half volley that it was, and you see, as it bounced off, and that sometimes has a tendency to spill either side of the foot, but still threatening enough with Chibwe off his line.
Good idea from him. Pace. Too hard to handle for Prince Mumba Ditsele. Now Botswana turning it on to the appreciation of a small convergent crowd here, the Kings Welitini Stadium in Umlazi. That is a goal kick. That's much better from Zebras. I think Coach Muhammad's important. That's it. More of the same, please.
Indeed.
They only failed to score in 19 matches that they've played in the competition. And I wanted to ask you this. We'll go through more stats. Of course, they've played 62 games. This is the 63rd in the COSAFA history. Oh, mistake. Keeper comes out. Had to. Did so well just to put off the man who saw his name in lights. The Prince of the Southern Province thought he had written his name in the headlights. In the headlines, but Huitone Poko just got a fingertip. Just put him off at the key moment.
Excellent goalkeeping. It's being able to read the situation in front of you and making the decision to come out. And the other thing, he comes out with his hands, which most goalkeepers don't get to do. They always attack their oncoming player with their feet. he applies it with his hands. You know, the hands have a bigger base to be able to deflect the ball. And if anything happens that you get kicked in the face or something like that, it's in your favor, unlike when you go with your feet. The advantage turns into the attacking player because you might be viewed as having kicked him. Fortunately, I'm not sure if we can even Google that. So,
look, what I can tell you, what I guess is the team present.
Yes,
red arrows have wrestled away the power base in Zambian football from Zesco United, after pipping them to the title, getting 20 wins from 34 to clinch the Zambian Super League title. Zesco came second, followed by Green Eagles. Ricky Banda pillaging 15 goals. Moses Piri of Zanaco as well, another team that also used to feature quite heavily back in the headlines in terms of the representation of the best from Zambia.
Did.
Friday, Samu of Green Buffaloes missed out of the Golden Boot by 3 goals.
And I'm talking about the days of KK11, before they became Chipolopo.
Thank you, the walking encyclopedia, William Shongwe. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 seconds before the half ends. It's been a very enthralling watch from wherever you may be taking it from.
As much as Zambia's shown an upper hand, but I can tell you that beside that goal, that obviously was considered in a way that maybe Botswana will not be too happy with themselves, but I feel like it hasn't been a real open game in as far as the Zambians are concerned. They still are there and there. Yes, they have an upper hand, but I think Botswana had stood their ground.
I think they were stunned a bit, or they were in awe of the Zambian side in the opening 15-20 minutes or so. I think once they reminded themselves, hey look, we're here for a reason, we are one of the better sides here, then you could see the confidence flooding back and almost muscle memory in Dominic Chanda, 26-year-old. I think they must not let their heads drop. 60 seconds of injury time. Coach Mbote will have one hell of a halftime team talk though on his shoulders. Just keep the belief going. I mentioned confidence at the highest level is quite a brutal thing. Even the greatest of greats doubt themselves. It's Mbote. I don't know what will be going through his mind. I know what's going through Benson Mangolo's mind. Wants to get the ball forward, and he will not get a chance to do so anymore in this half as referee Lukolo Padi blows the halftime whistle. And the luckiest of on goals from Tebogo Kopelang, who the record books will show was the goal scorer of the first in this quarter-final clash between Zambia and Botswana. From there on, Zambia got stuck into the work as Chipolo really looked to hammer home the advantage. But Botswana, as I mentioned, refound their form and refocused themselves and made a fist of it in the last 10 minutes of their half to ensure that it is still a game that will give us much to talk about. At the halftime break, it's 1 Zambia, 0 Botswana.
Ready for Shampopo and spinning with Hollywood Bets? Play Spinazonke online now and enter our world of fantasy. Is hot fruit a favorite of yours? Be your own king with COSAFA. Or try your luck at the Wealth Inn. With hundreds of exciting games to choose from, there is something for everyone. Get spinning now with Hollywood Bets and Spinazonke.
W Series is underway. Oh, that's been hit! Jamie Chadwick's been hit! Oh, look at this! There's a change in the lead! And there's the move.
Head down and get up to the car in front.
Brilliant victory in the wet for Emma Kimmerleinen. Alice Powell gets through to give her the championship lead. Jamie Chadwick retains her crown in some style. This is W Series.
Greatness. They need to put together a half of football that is almost nigh on perfect. Alongside me is William Shonga with your expert analysis, aka the Cool Cat. I mentioned Mohamoti Mpote. We will touch on Coach Sichone. His side, quickest out the blocks. He looks like his halftime team talk hit the right notes. Skipped by Mutale. Not even a chance to sit down and take it in, and Zambia already on the attack.
If you're going to create a moment whereby you can get the better of Botswana, is you're going to play into their faces just what? The whole 90 minutes. In anticipation that at some stage their tempo will drop, and that's where the Zambians with their fresh legs can take advantage. Right now, if they don't apply the right kind of pressure, Botswana can sustain their level of performance throughout the 90 minutes. So you've got to increase the tempo against Botswana to benefit from fatigue.
No changes to report on either side. And I think a stat that is worth mentioning, 63% of the ball was in favor of Zambia in that first half. So perhaps something that Coach Mpote would have highlighted in the halftime chat, that we need a bit more of the ball so we can hurt them. You can't hurt a team if you don't have the ball. Well, statistically anyway, that's usually what happens. But there's that old saying, it's not how much of the ball you have, it's what you do with it.
Which is why transition play sometimes can come very handy. And you've got to understand that the team that maybe that has more ball position is always playing to your force, so they're holding a high line. So that long pass from deep can end up with the striker in front of the opposition's goal.
And they do have a very capable and pacey striker in Godfrey Nonko Dayatswala, as well as a goal scoring Baukedi Talani. Does have a goal to his name alongside Tato Kibwe, the centre back, and keeper Hoitsono Poko. Here's fullback Luka Tamanga. It's good for Zambia. It's a better save from Poko. He's keeping Botswana in this game while he's driving Chipolo Polo forward, Mutale.
The liveliest of the midfield players of Zambia. Unfortunately, Mumba hasn't come into the picture, so is Kabamba. He's only been there in certain moments, but disappointed from Banda, who in front of goal needs to be a bit more composed and clinical. That was the most open chance of all that they've created so far.
And we were saying the crucial nature of the first goal in the second half, or the next goal in this game,
will kill the game.
Will kill the game, or will breathe new life into it. And they were almost dead and buried with the Zebras. Turned it to chops, some will say. Zebra chops.
Well, I'm not into that. Well, geographically, that is following that side of the life out there in the wild. Yes, but that's another level that we're just getting into now.
So I take you've never tasted zebra before?
No.
I have.
You see now.
Tastes like chicken.
We
move. Here's some serious beef between that man Chanda as well as Velapi. Ditsele, they need more from the midfield maestro, Lebogang Ditsele. An injury stoppage for midfielder Kelvin Kampumbu. course, as I mentioned at the start of the second half, and 5 previous attempts since the tournament's inception, it's been Zambia, and Zambia all 5 times. You see that injury to his left ankle, Kapumbu. He of Zanaco Football Club, as you see, alongside other teammates. In fact, I just had a quick look down. He is the only representative from Zanaco. The side only made of Zesco United and Red Arrows players. Touch here in there of Power Dynamo players as well. Botswana, in terms of games played in the COSAFA Cup, a total of 48. They've won most of their games away from home. Traditionally, the tournament is played in various parts of Southern Africa. It's a good cross to the byline and a header as well. It's powerful, a good run to the near post. But the cushioned header not on target. For the man I'd mentioned, Dayatswala.
Velapi once again, that developing run and delivers right into the box. Yes, maybe Velapi attacking the ball a little bit too early. A little bit of patience in being able to charge it up until it drops a little bit lower for him to connect well with it. And of course, should things continue to be operational for Zambia in that middle of the park, there's Albert Kangwanda in that middle of the park, who also is another that has the ability to open up the game. I feel like I've mentioned Mumba and Kabamba, who are still not coming into the party like you'd expect them. They're the instigators, they're the playmakers, they're the catalyst into how this Zambian team can play.
Now here come Botswana, the blue shirts of the Zebras, looking a bit fired up here. Talani, what can he conjure up? A code 45. Cut back for Cooper. He misses it, but the ball followed after that was just sheer class. Beautiful finish by Benson Mangolo, of all players.
What was he doing there?
What was he doing there?
He's a left fullback.
What I can tell you, he didn't know what he was doing there, but he found himself there, and he got the right finish. William Shongwe. Game on 8 minutes before the hour.
The number of white shirts that are available in that box. Cooper, the star player in the Botswana, he misses this one, but it falls perfectly for Mangolo, who delivers with his right. He's left-footed. How did he do that? That, you know, there's something about this goal that just had everything going for Botswana.
I thought you were going to hit me with an unbelievable
it is, indeed, without a doubt.
There we go, on his weaker foot with the right for the 23-year-old Security Systems fullback, leaving Zambia in pain. A man who's feeling the pain is Dominic Chanda. Bit of a calf issue. What made that finish so impressive? There was a man on the far post, and he just squeezed it in between the crossbar and the defender.
That is when I can say unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, really. But the thing, it's the bravery of the players that makes the decision to now suddenly let loose and say, come what may, we're here to play. If it's available, let's make it work.
That their 4th goal of the Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup 2022 edition for Coach Mpote's side, courtesy of the most unlikeliest of scorers in Benson Mangolo. Clever skip from Cooper. I don't know if he meant it or he missed the ball, but nonetheless, unwittingly worked out for his side.
But even better, the way that he looked that ball just to get into the play of Velapi.
I think he's
brilliantly and composed delivered the cutback into the part of the run, Cooper. Like you said, whether he missed it deliberately, I'm not too sure.
But there was a warning shot before that. Velapi did get to the byline, crossed the ball, but Dauya Tswala couldn't header the ball in the direction of the goals.
It was definitely with the run of play.
Yeah. Well, the second time of asking, they got it right. He's got it wrong. Tato Kebue goes into referee Buddy's books. Becomes the second Botswana player alongside Alfred Velapi. So 2 off the back 4 for Botswana on a caution.
This is where now the more experienced players should be able to deal better with a situation like this. Sometimes you think you're going to get there, but if you know you can't get there in time, that's when you just sit behind the player and just guide him away from the danger area. And if you look at where the incident happened, it's way deep around the center line. It doesn't deserve a decision like that.
There's 2 substitutions that are ready to enter the fray. The first up is Camelo Kulachano. He comes on for Nikoba. Well, for Zambia, man is to come on is Luka Chamanga, for the looks of it. In fact, it's Patrick Gondwe, I beg your pardon. Chamanga, in fact, just came back. I think he was suffering a bit of an injury, so he's off the pitch. Gondwe in. Coach Mpote says, anything you can do, I can do. If your side score, we can score. If you sub, I can also sub. Game on. First game on a knife edge. 4 minutes before the hour. What a game this is promising out to be, of course. More games coming your way tomorrow as well. Big guns are in town. In Mlazi town. Banda! Spill by the keeper, not once but twice. That will not count. They thought they had found a second. We need to look up and see that.
Pitsele makes a mistake as he tried to build from the back, and it is picked up and immediately it's pressure. But once again, Poko was excellent in blocking, but he doesn't hold on to it, and it deflects it back to the oncoming player. But what happens is the player that eventually gets to push it into the back of net had an unfair advantage. He already had straight offside when the initial shot was taken.
I must say, the man who came on, Camelo Kulachano, is a defender by trade. He's replaced the winger. So perhaps a bit of a tactical alteration for Mpote. The coach Mukhomotsi Mpote. While for Zambia was an attacker. And for another attacker. With Gondwe. Being Patrick Gondwe of Nkana Football Club. Coming on. Midfield, Mutale has a quick look over his shoulder, but forgets that he needs to have 2 feet on the ground. As a result, he's off balance when he made contact with the ball. As Chanda, beautiful turn. Superb. Prince Mumba gives away possession cheaply. I think Ditzel and Cooper have finally woken up to the fact that they're playing a quarter-final. Turning it on as we had asked for in the first half, as the Republic of Botswana fans would have asked for. maybe slowly coming to grips with your opposition as time goes on. Pressure here. Comfortable looking clearance, Chipeshi.
Mini Cooper's has made a big name for himself in this game.
He's come alive now.
He's just risen to the occasion, like you said. He's just realized that, by the way, the competition is still on.
Yeah, we're still here. That man did say that. Now this was the earlier chance. Ricky Banda with the shot, the initial shot, which keeper Poko did not gather cleanly.
I think for me, the player that immediately challenges goalkeeper, that's the one that is suspected to have strayed off his offside before the shot was taken. But the one who finishes, I think, was way onside.
Good point. I think I concur with you. Smack bang on an hour here at King's Welitini Stadium, Mlazi. We are in the southwest of Durban for this quarter-final clash between five-time champion Zambia and 2022 Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup hopefuls Botswana, the only side to have a clean sheet or a clean record, 100% record leading up to this particular quarter-final tie. They trailed via an own goal from Tebogo Kopelang and then scored from the unlikely source Benson Mangolo. Fun fact for you, William Shongwe, a Zambian player is yet to score in this game.
Ah, yes, so Botswana scored 2.
Yeah. Ball at feet of the Prince of Southern Province, being Spencer Sautu. Look to Chanda. Nice play by Zambia. We've seen them do this quite often. Almost slow it down to only quicken it up with a big diagonal switch, but then they've left themselves open. It looked like it was offside, yeah. You see it from a mile away. Should have done better because there was space to time your run and have a look at the same time for Tawiatwala.
Yeah.
Of course, we are streaming live on COSAFA.tv. And it's also beamed on your TV screens. Mumba loses out. Trigger run from the pacey Talani. And stride for stride, matched by Dominic Chanda of Kabwe Warriors. He's starting now to feel as if he's in a game as well now. More beads of sweat on that forehead. We have a game on our hands here, William Shongwe. We mentioned the importance of the next goal. Should Zambia get it? Possibly. Curtains. If Botswana score first, well, cat amongst the pigeons. Or is it the zebra amongst the pigeons?
Well, that was just one kick. Is there another one to follow?
Good point. You did call it zebra kicks hardest when it's running away. Kick was one. Will there be a second? Here's a corner kick from the left foot of man who just joined us, Camelo Kulachano. It's disappointing there from Kulachano. He do better. Especially with all the big men up there. Flicked on by Ditele, no look pass. Anyway, will do for the Zambian defense, who finally are under more consistent pressure than they've ever been in this game.
This is a good one for Botswana. Look at the amount of time it has taken the player on the ball to be able to pick it up. This is basically in line with just trying to break the game down a little bit, get a bit of recovery. I think Mangolo, the player, was the scorer of the goal. And I think the goalkeeper soon will follow suit in the amount of time that they take to get the game started. And it will be just about managing the time, minute by minute, and in the hope that they'll get into a penalty shootout stage whereby it's anybody's game.
Well, this ground holds good omens for Botswana. The last time they played here, they booked a quarter-final berth after beating Angola 1-0, courtesy of a Hoiti Poko penalty. He is the captain and goalkeeper. Should I say, he's the goalkeeper. Captain duties fall to Kiabue. That's where they umpire from time to time in the absence of Kibue. Two-man wall for Zambia. Plenty of movement. Miscue. Finally cleared by Gondwe. Keeper way off his line. Poko. Now a chance for Mutale. With some green grass to work with. The diminutive Joshua Mutale, skillful player, but I think he had realized there were not too many options on for him. So they had to reset. Patient side in possession are Zambia.
They're a team that can build from the back, and they play with high intensity, but I think the structure of us, the way that Botswana defends, is that they defend as a unit. So as much as you play high tempo football, but because you got so many players in front of you, you've got to do so much more as far as opening them up.
And there's a bit of miscommunication. That all comes to nothing as a referee Buddy blows his whistle.
Very imposing figure of the referee as well. Even if a player maybe has a temptation to confront him with any decision, but the minute you look up and you see this very big, massive figure in front of you, you choose a different route.
Now here come Botswana through Talani. Finds a two-man defensive wall in orange. Here's Patrick Gondwe. Of course, really some big news as well. We heard earlier, coming from North Africa, that the Egyptians have turned to former Portuguese player and coach Rui Vitória as the national team coach, as he replaces Habab Galal. Galal was sacked on the 16th of June after a 2-0 defeat by Ethiopia in the quarterfinals of AFCON 2023. He was in charge for 2 months after taking over from another Portuguese mentor, and Carlos Queiroz. Egyptians seem to trust the Portuguese, it seems.
Here's something of interest as well coming in from up north in Morocco, is that the ladies teams of these two teams playing in this quarterfinal stage have also qualified for the knockout stages of their competition there. That speaks volume of COSAFA football. And of course, there's more in as far as the ladies team from this region.
Yeah. It's gonna say
Banyana is also in there.
One of the dark horses, I think, not even dark horses, one of the firm favorites, judging by the opening 2 games that we saw. Banyana looking really good.
But Tembi Khatlana, from his story, is the most painful one, to think that his tournament is over and maybe out for a year or two
or so.
That's the saddest part. The bright shining star of the ladies team at the moment.
Of course, Women's AFCON coming to you live from Morocco, while the COSAFA Cup smack bang in the province of eThekwini. From wherever you may be watching us, from the south, east or west, maybe north of Africa. We say Dumelang, as well as Shani Mwaiseni. We can go as far as Comment ça va bien? You want me to continue? Got a bit of Portuguese. Como estás? Até o dia. I'm here all week. William showing a beautiful skill. That's mwah. That you understand in English language. Good touch back onto the feet of Luka Chumanga, who is in fact younger brother of James Chamanga.
I was actually thinking that when I look at the same name Leighton, I thought I should have been quiet if there's no relation between these two. And for those that know James, he was at another level in his striking ability. And I remember, while still here in South Africa, he scored 6 goals. One of the few players that would score that number of goals in one game. Also went to play in China, if I'm not mistaken. And the sharpshooter of note. Also featured very prominently in the COSAFA Cup in the past.
I think probably his most prized possession would be that 2012 AFCON medal that he won with Zambia as well. He's quite a key figurehead in that tournament. I'm sure looking over, watching young brother Luka Chamanga, who's 31 years of age, plays for Power Dynamos. I can tell you, James Chamanga still plays football for Red Arrows, by the way.
Imagine. Oh, no wonder.
Going strong. It's not too late for you, Willie.
Maybe he didn't score that many goals, but it makes a lot of sense that you have experienced players in your midst.
From the past to the present, Mutale was the subject of that attempted pass. Chamanga. Battling away with
community figure of Copa is just incredible how he gets stuck in and he really makes a difference, not only with his pass going forward but also break down attacks from the oppositions. Look at him, is not much.
More frustration now on the faces and the body language of the Zambian players. It's not as easy as it was in the first half. That's what a goal does for you. Changes the complexity in the landscape of the game. He's been at the helm of it. Mutusi Cooper turns 25 in 7 days' time and applies his trade in Morocco. Of course, William, tomorrow the big hitters are in town. Senegal and Eswatini. Your beloved Eswatini take on the might of the current AFCON champion Senegal. Well, South Africa host Mozambique.
Well, that's a great moment for Eswatini to make history. And obviously Eswatini has a score to settle with Senegal because Eswatini bombed out of the competition in the semi-final stage against Senegal. So it's an opportunity to be able to correct the matter.
You can still see the tears in your eyes. A reminder, Eswatini to beat Lesotho 2-0 at this very same venue to secure a quarter-final berth against the aforementioned Senegal. And topped Group B. It was an open group heading into the final day of group matches. They got the job done against Lesotho with Kamedze and Zininza on the score sheet in the opening 18 minutes. With a red card in the 83rd minute for Tseka of Lesotho to ensure matters in favor of Eswatini. They topped the group with 7 points from the allotted 3 games, with 2 wins and a draw.
Ooh.
17 to play. Who will get the knockout blow? Have Chipolo Polo fired or emptied their cartridge, or is there one more bullet left that will hit the target, and that target being a semi-final spot? Or will the Zebras forage on success at the expense of Zambia? Banda was slightly left behind. They wouldn't have counted as referee, but he's been in the past of this game as Nkolo Padi. The referee hasn't missed a beat at all.
No. And once again in the first game, we had an official from the Kingdom of Eswatini and talking to Felix Tangawarima, who obviously is man in charge of all the refereeing in this competition, spoke volume of the Swazi official who handled the first game. Says didn't put a foot wrong. Wow. I was impressed. Said that's my man.
Trust you to fly the Swatini flag high. Nonetheless, you've been here in South Africa for a millennium. No South African in Eswatini. Swazi. Swati, should I say? How many South African languages do you speak now, William?
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't done well in that aspect. Somebody advised me that get a local woman, they teach better. And unfortunately, there weren't too many opportunities like that.
Oh, well, I can give you free advice. Stick to the football.
Which is what I did.
Done well for yourself. Here's Cooper looking to do good work for his Botswana side. Pressure from Chamanga and too aggressive from the 31-year-old defender. Not giving Talani a chance at all to turn. Nice flick on. The idea was good from Tauyatswala. Just too much for his teammate. Here come Botswana, looking far more confident and competent, producing content that may leave the Republic of Botswana content. Mwamba. Oh, gotta love a good old tackle. It's not a friendly. It's a competitive match of football, competitive match of Hollywood bets. The COSAFA Cup 2022. Who are you betting on? Pressure.
That reaction speaks volumes. It's a telling time of the game. And when a player loses focus in that sense, it tells you the story that something is settling into that body.
Mutale beats one. And on the recovery tackle, the toy shot back in his face. Still the ball with Cooper and Co. Cooper looking to cook something. Skillful work, Talani. As a result, they had to bring him down illegally. So, said again, referee body always
still something in there.
Action. Yeah, there's something in there.
Definitely. I mean, that 10 was just something that came out from nowhere. I know he's pacey. I know he's got a little bit of this and that, but that was a different scenario. Nobody does it on that from the wing side, with the line on the side, but this time it was way into the middle where the pressure comes from all ends.
William Shonga just had a quick look. I'll tell you of what I've just spotted. Now, it was the goal creator, Kibuwe. Keeper has to make a save, and the upright comes to the aid of Zambia. It's still shaking, I can tell you. The walls of Zambia are shaking to the core. That was close, closer than close. 13 minutes to play, William Chongwe.
Man! I mean, first from this run on this near side, from the left full back, once again, Velapi. He has the composure to slow down and just cut that thing back perfectly, and on the turn with an overhead kick. Wow.
That's the man who came on in the second half, Kamelo Kulachano. Almost becoming an instant hero with an acrobatic and creative attempt. That would have been a stunner of a goal, arguably right up there for one of the goals of the tournament. Headed away, Mutale. One player we've seen less and less of is Ricky Banda. Has not featured much in the last 10-12 minutes. Through ball, all the way through to Poko. I was going to say, I just looked down at some of the media that have gathered here. There's a gentleman here watching a series while the game is going on. Someone needs to have words with him. This game is hot.
Uh-huh.
You want to do it or shall I do it?
Now go on with it. Who's that?
I'll chat to him after the 90. One hell of a game this is. Some people need to get their priorities right.
Is that you who needs to get your priorities right?
Oh, look at him. There he is. Watching the whole series.
She's watching. Oh, he's watching a lot of other things beside the game here on his laptop. Listen, can you focus on the game? Because I think you're focusing on other things beside the game here.
I can't believe that his eyes are not on the game. He's fixated on this. That's Cooper. Pushed away easily by Chepeshi. I think the man I'll speak of, he might be of Swati descent. Here's Mumba. Factor Skonde. Kapumbu. His influence on the game has also waned as the half has progressed. Of course, a reminder for you at home, if this game ends in a draw, we go straight to penalties, no extra time. There's 2 substitutions ready to enter for Coach Sichone, perhaps with the last throw off the proverbial dice. And wow, it's Joshua Mutale who's taken off. He's been arguably the brightest spark.
To the displeasure of the fans.
Yeah.
You can see they're very concerned about that substitution.
It's Enoch Sakala is to come on for him. Well, the other player who swiftly joins him is Saddam Piri. They will have about 9 minutes or so to change the course of this game.
And to think that Mporte has only made 1 change and the players are still standing. For me, he needs to be better at this.
So an in-swing, I keep a Poko with a double-fisted half clearance. Piri is a midfielder and by trade, while Sakala's inclusion will see him try to affect the goal from further forward. He is a forward by profession and plays for Zesco United, while Piri's on the books of Red Arrows Football Club. Poko safe as houses. That's what you want from your keeper in crucial moments in a game with only 9 minutes or so remaining on the clock. Maybe as well Piri and Sakala being brought on with penalties in mind, perhaps.
But he's one of those midfielders that I mentioned alongside the Kaganda, who obviously have that impact when they come in. They're playmakers, and I think which is why whatever his name, Mutale, was sacrificed, because these players provide almost the same intensity when it comes to build-up play.
8 crucial moments in this quarter-final clash, second of today's quarter-finals, with the earlier one decided in favor of Namibia against Madagascar. The punch again from Poko. Cooper picks up the seconds
and put eyes on the ball, calms the game down, and you can't keep playing forward. You know the legs are going. See if you can find a way just to calm things down slightly.
That was not calm from Chamanga, the complete opposite of calmness. Panic.
Now that I can see him a little bit closer,
you can see him, yeah?
He doesn't look too far from his brother
James.
Yeah.
I think we need to give kudos a lot as well to Alfred Velapi, the fullback for Botswana. He's really provided good thrust, attacking thrust. Once he crosses the halfway line, didn't do so frequently in the first half. I think he wasn't allowed to. The whole side really wasn't playing to their potential. But in the second half, boy oh boy, has he not waken up. Ditsele with a floated header in just over the head of Kologano. Inches away. Game of football can be decided by mere inches. It's Patrick Okore. From Ghana Football Club. Kondwe, another one of the second half substitutions. Cooper really have to be commended of their stamina. And we want to remind that this is their 4th game in the competition, while Zambia, fresh off a training camp, a 2 to 3 week training camp, had to kick a ball in anger. This is their first match, straight into the quarterfinals, and for Botswana to still make it a very close arm wrestle, very admirable, and a testament to their stamina and conditioning. Chest work, right work from Chanda, or rather Velapi. There's a corner. Accumulating these corners, will something come from it. Look to change the point of attack, not to the desired effect. It's not the best of throw-ins, straight to a man in orange, not giving his strikers any chance whatsoever. Velapi. If you translate it in our South African language, Velapi, in isiZulu or any of the Nguni languages, means where is he from?
Yeah.
And earlier, William Shongo, those goals that have seen that both sides have a goal apiece was an own goal from Kopelang. Didn't know much about that, but Zambia will know all about this particular goal. Started off from the left-hand side. Cooper again always heavily involved. The cross from Velapi skipped, and the finish, Mangola, impeccable. And that's where we find ourselves with the scoreline 1-1. I still have a sneaky suspicion there's one more twist in this tale.
And there's always a twist around this time, of course, with lapses of concentration being a part of the game. Surely not too impressed with how things have gone.
No, he's not. Trust the coaches to always have something to say, which most often than not is the complete opposite of what the officials decide.
Yeah, you might be fresh. I'm talking about the legs of the Zambians, but you're playing your first game, which always has its own challenges. Any first game in a tournament of this nature always brings certain challenges. The combinations are still not fine-tuned, and it takes you first game to get things going, and then you can work out the nitty-gritties of what you can do on your next game. Whatever training that you do, it's nothing compared to the actual game. So you can never say, I played too many friendlies. Friendlies never account to what a real game looks like.
Which brings recovery then into real conversation for one of these sides. Should they get over the line and book themselves a semi-final spot? Botswana will have 4 games in their legs, while Zambia will have 1 tough game in their legs. How is that going to affect their recovery of
the difference now? There's a few days more than they would have had for Botswana for recovery. But even for the Zambians as well, they're coming into a good stage of the tournament where the days in between games are a little bit longer than they've been for the other teams in the group stages.
Cooper at it again. He was the catalyst for that latest Zebras move. Looking to move forward through Sakala. Not finding it easy here, Zambia. Not the same swagger that they had in the first half. It was a tough Botswana side to crack. Oh, that was a clever run and some good vision as well behind that pass. Otherwise, he was in Tauyatwala. That's Prince Mumba. And that was Saram Piri. Should be one of the fresher players on the pitch, having come on not so long ago. Perhaps with, as I said, penalties in mind for coach Moses Mwapesichwane. Defense didn't know much about that, but in the end, they get it away. 120 seconds or 2 minutes of injury time before the allotted lottery of penalties. Cooper, second half, is put in a real man of the match performance as Mutusi Cooper. They slow it down. Still looking for one chink in the armory of Chipolo Polo. And no side wants to give away any inch of advantage, William Shongwe. They know it could be just the death rattle that seals their fate in this competition.
It'll be an embarrassment if Zambia were to lose. After all that has been said about bring their best players in the local league and that they've got fresh legs, and I think no coach.
There's a chance here. Upright comes to the aid. This time around of Botswana. Ball still alive. We saw it happen in the Zambian box. Now lightning has struck twice. This time around in the Zebra's box. Football is a game of inches.
It is.
That's how close.
Oh man,
that record almost continued of five straight wins.
At a desperate stage of the game in this fashion, when you're given an opening like that, you're in front of goal, you're in the center. How did they miss that? I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, man. That's an open goal written all over this move.
Should Zambia lose this game,
they'll have themselves to blame.
Will be the chance that they remember Enoch Sakala, who came on off the bench in hopes of being the quintessential impact sub, well, fluffed his lines when it chance emerged for the Zesco United player. But I think we really need to give credit to this Botswana side, who are up against perennial winners in the COSAFA Cup, a side that they failed to beat 5 previous times. I can tell you they've made history with this draw. In 6 previous attempts, this their first draw. It's now the luck of the draw in penalties, William Shongwe. It's 1 Zambia, 1 Botswana. Stick around. Who will be decided? Or how will they decide it 12 yards out?
With the largest sardine run of...
Plug into Mzansi's newest gaming show, VS Gaming Weekly, the show that shines a spotlight on all things esports in Mzansi Africa. We bring you everything from the VS Gaming League, tournaments, interviews, and we go head to head with the biggest celebrities right here in studio.
Why don't you ask Joe's questions? Ask your questions.
Don't miss VS Gaming Week.
Every Wednesday at 6 p.m, live on S3 and TTT. Also available on Telkom One. Proudly brought to you by Telkom.
Risk everything, fear nothing, no regrets. Play hard or don't play at all and rise to the top. Catch the finest of local talent in the Heritage Rugby, Saturdays at 3 p.m, live on SABC Sport on TTT Channel 4, OpenView 124, and also available on Telkom One.
Kopelang coming running in and knocks it back into his own goal, to his disappointment, but character, because he continued to play beautifully thereafter.
2 ricochets later, it ended up in the back of the net, but there was more definitive nature about this goal. From Velapi, the right back, Cooper, the midfielder, skips it, and it was the left back. In fact, from right back to left back, what a goal.
It means everybody was high up there. Normally, when one flank attacks, the other one stays back. But this time, they were all there. They could smell it. It was there. They could sense it. And beautifully played into the far corner with his right foot. That, for me, is what amazed me even more than the goal itself.
I think he could try that 10 more times. He probably only get it once on his weaker foot. It's not a natural fashion, not a natural finisher, should I say. But Alfred Velapi did find a second wind, and so did Botswana in the second half. How about that for improvisation, William Shongwe?
Beautiful. And at a time, once again, when you thought maybe Botswana should just be sitting back and resting and just defending with their lives, and they had these few moments, big moments, whereby that could have easily decided the game. And then, of course, Zambia did bounce back at some stage with their own attacks.
Zambia survived. Botswana survived via the same manner. I think it was upright on the left-hand side, same in the opposition box as well. That's how close that this game almost got decided on either side. Enoch Sakala should have scored, but he didn't. And now we find ourselves with penalties. But that's the state of play. Zambia dominated possession in the first half. In the second half, Botswana had more of the ball, but most importantly, they got all that important goal to level matters and sees the game now going to penalties. What a quarterfinals it's been. Chipeshi as Kibue. He just concluded the toss. We'll get further details as to who will have first kick.
And I'm sure they will have done a little bit of a penalty shootout in their training session in preparation for this knockout stage. And so the players shouldn't be living anyway, as we know the pressure is there anyway. But at least I'm sure the selection of who's more likely to take it should have been decided yesterday already. And it's not a question of finding out who's available. But some does chicken out at this stage, of course, and then coaches have to look for another suitable takers available.
Well, William Shongwe, pressure either makes you or breaks you. Diamonds are formed from pressure.
Indeed.
Not everybody is for the pressure. And it doesn't get more high pressure than this. Zambia facing a record that they wouldn't have thought of at the start of the game. A loss to a side that they've bullied over the years.
But you know, this stage of the game, of course, it's a shootout. It's anybody's. It's a lottery.
It's a lottery.
It's about who has the better nerves to deal with the pressure.
I know my nerves are shot right now. We haven't even kicked a penalty as yet. It's been a great spectacle for the crowd that has gathered here at the Kingsway Litini Stadium, Lana Mlwazi, Kwati, in the fourth largest township in the Republic of South Africa. Let's produce the real game of high octane, high drama. Guess who? It's the captain, Tato Kibue of Gaborone United. Has played each and every minute of tournament football in the Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup 2022 edition. Doesn't get more crucial than this. This is moment to set the tone for his side, as referee Badi just gives last instructions into Poko and Chibwe.
The inquiry, of course, I think from Poko is that what if I stick my leg backwards from the line? Is that allowed? And they're getting confirmation of all that, those situations, and because one wrong move could put you in a situation. If you make the save, there might be a retake. Yes, yes.
They just speak Tswana to him.
He's South African. Oh, okay.
Half South African. This is my house. Nice touch. Yeah, what she was showing his time in South Africa. Of course, he's at Zesco now. It's Captain Kibue. Oh, told to wait. That is going to add more nerves onto Kibwe.
Listen, what is Buddy on about here? This is the goalkeeper's space. Use any form of intimidation that you can use against the man in front of you.
Spoken like a former goalkeeper. Kibwe, the pressure of the Botswana nation on his shoulders. He says, pressure molds diamonds, and it doesn't come more shiny than Kibwe.
Listen, that was well taken. I had my fears about this. Lively as it is, Kibwe, but that ball had the right pace. A little bit maybe considering the height, but nice and wide. Too fast for the goalkeeper to react to it.
And now up steps the man who came with big hype into this tournament, into this quarterfinal, the top goal scorer in the Zambian Super League, Ricky Banda. Was at the helm of the first goal, but in between that, he was kept quiet. Now it's his moment to make noise. It's Banda! Cool as you like, straight down the middle.
That's the hardest one to take for the goalkeeper. Of course, you think to yourself, maybe I should have stayed. Questions start flooding your mind of what he could have done or didn't do. Right straight.
Showing the finishing instinct of a poacher. Still only 21 years of age, Ricky Banda. Now attention turns from Banda to Valkedi Talani as a goal to his name in the tournament. Says Kautsiba. Translation says, I know you. How much does he know him? It's time to get personal. Talani, Chibwe. Talani says, you don't know me, my friend. Google me.
Well, unfortunately, Chibwe didn't have time to Google him. And a well taken penalty. And even better is that it was high. Even if you decide right, he did decide or went the right way, but ball was high, which makes it even harder for a keeper to reach for.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Judging by the first two pens we've seen, the first three penalties you've seen, they definitely practiced them.
Wow,
top quality.
Let me tell you, it's a given. There's not even two ways about it. It's a norm for at this level, for that matter. Maybe elsewhere.
Now it's Kapumbu. Will he hit the target for the Bullets? Kapumbu goes to the right-hand side. It's not a day for the keepers thus far in opening 4 penalties.
Well taken.
Well taken indeed.
And something that maybe I haven't mentioned is, for a right-footed player, the most difficult take is to slice them in that fashion into that same side. Normally the easiest is to hook the ball a little bit, which gives you a bit of power as well. And goalkeepers always obviously guess to go to their right if you're to their left. Yeah, right. If you are a right-footed player taking it.
I did not know that, by the way. Thank you for that. Did not know that.
Excuse me.
Now Botswana for the third. Long run up. Slows it down. Oh, and he missed. It looked innocuous in approach. Guess who? The man who scored the goal that got them to the penalty shootout has now missed in the penalty shootout. Such is the game of football. You can turn from 0 to 0 just like that.
Composed and calm. He obviously knew exactly, and knowing that the goalkeeper will do the same as well. If you are left-footed, the goalkeeper will go to his left. So that's where Chibwe went, and he thought I'll just struck it nicely to the side, but opened his foot a little bit wider.
Can Chamanga do better, the Power Dynamos player? Will he go for power or finesse? Chamanga goes for power. Same side like Kampumbu. Advantage Zambia. And well, a bit of a tickle dance. Thank you, worldwide.
Power is the way to go. This is what I would advise any young player coming in the range to say, okay, what do I do here? Should I be confused? I'm telling you, if you hit it hard enough, it can go right next to your ear as a goalkeeper.
You still won't save it.
Yeah.
Tayatswala. Godfrey Nonko Tayatswala. He says, don't change your mind. You might just fumble the bag, he says. Chibwe.
Teasing them, eh?
Teasing him.
He's having fun.
Is he living rent-free in Yatswala's mind? The answer is no. He's already paid his rent, and he says, with love from Botswana.
Beautifully struck penalty. So that's once again, it's like these takers are completely going the other way. Once again, right-footed, goalkeeper goes to his right in anticipation of what usually happens. So all of them, that's how they've gone.
Of the last 3 penalties, 1 of the last 4, in
yes,
fact. 1 has gone, but the opposite side, the other 3 have gone.
In fact,
on the right side.
It's because he was a left-footed player. The goalkeeper went to his left because previous taker was left-footed.
A chance for Zambia. Oh, easy as you like. Saddam Piri says, call on me when you need a cool finish from 12 yards out. The Red Arrows man hits the target. Look at that, nonchalant.
Once again, Parker goes to the right of a right-footed player. I'm telling you, this is weird.
They're all on the same side, the goals that have been converted. Now, he's had a good game, Buhandi Tele. In fact, he had an ineffectual first half. The second half, he came alive and showed the performance that has led his side to a quarter-final. Will he cap it off with a penalty?
They missed this one, is over.
Ditele. Another same side again. The ball attracted to that left-hand side of the keeper like a magnet.
Now, defining moment of the game. Let me just admit something. If I was in goal for any of those two, I would have considered all those penalties.
At least you're an honest man. Now, all eyes on Dominic Chanda of Kabwe Warriors, 26 years of age. Played the 90 minutes alongside Alan Kapila from centre back. Now has a chance to be the main man who wraps it up for Zambia and sees them secure a semi-final spot. It's Dominic Chanda against Poko. Chanda! Says Zambia march on, and on, as they've done since 1997.
Beautiful. Not deserved, but you know what? They had to fight. They needed the nerves. I mean, at the most difficult time, and that's when the character came through. And taken penalties, not a single save from either goalkeepers, except for the one that was played out for Botswana to lose. But I think they'll go out here courageously. Like I said earlier when we were off air, that if there was an award that was to be given to the brave team, Botswana will be the team for me. But unfortunately there isn't. But they'll walk away with lots of pride in what they've been able to achieve here with a team that is new at this level.
Well, you've heard of the last kicks of a dying horse. How about the last kicks of a dying zebra? That was the last for Botswana. They can hold their heads up high, can the Zebras, because they really did take it all the way to the final whistle and the final penalty. It took Zambia 90 minutes and 5 penalties to see off Botswana. But the most successful side in the COSAFA Cup march on to the semi-finals after a 1-1 scoreline at full time. It's 5-4 to Zambia on penalties.
Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup 2022 second quarter-final comes to an end, and Zambia gets to the semi-finals and make a date with Namibia in as far as the semi-final is concerned. And with me right now is the man of the match of this encounter, Lebogang Ditele. Congratulations. And obviously Hollywood Bates, football sponsorship coordinator, hands over. Talk to me about the game. Tough one it was. You haven't made it to the semi-finals. Put it in words.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank my God for giving me this talent, and to thank my teammate for working together like this. Unfortunately, we have played a lot of games. We know that those guys that are fresh, as we are tired, game time. We have three games, but we wanted to score first, so that we can settle, because we know that they are going to come in to us, and we didn't start well. That's why my boys, I say, second half, guys, let's take this game to them. We're going to score. Even that we can score 2 goals, we know that we're going to win this game. But unfortunately, we miss our chances. They miss them. And I'm so proud about my team.
Detail, you talk about the fatigue in the team coming into this game. Just what is it that saw you continue fighting hard till the end of the game? Because you looked like fatigue was not in the team.
Like I'm saying, you know, these boys, we play together with them in Champions League. Because even us, you know that those guys, if you mess them, you know that they are going to come physically. You're supposed to play the ball, then we move the ball so that we can get into spaces. Because you know that they can't run, they can't sprint. But pound to pound, they are going to come harder.
Thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on the award that you've won.
Thank you so much, my brother.
That's Ditele, the Gaborone United defensive midfielder, putting up a splendid performance in as far as this evening's fixture is concerned with Zambia. And joining me right now is Mokomote Mpote, Botswana coach. Coach, hard luck to you. Your thoughts about the game?
No, I see it coming, but I think it's unfair if you look at the fixturing. We are playing a fresh team, isn't it? You play a high tactical game with Angola on Sunday. We don't have rest, and we are playing on Tuesday.
And obviously, coach, you had so much energy despite fatigue coming to picture from the group stages. What did you tell the boys, especially at halftime, for them to come stronger?
Yeah, first half it was a game of, disparate passes. You could see we could not construct properly. Zambia dominated in the midfield. Yeah, second half now we are looking at how they play, and you just change the game. The problem was, the triangle. Zambia is sitting with 2 guys. We are sitting with 2 guys. So now it means we have only 1 man to press. But in our defense there in the midfield, Kupa and Toli, they are marking 1 man. Now we change the triangle to go with 2 attacking midfielders. We hold them, we start playing our normal game. Left, right, then outside the cross. Yeah, we were unlucky to not score that ball. It's just hit the bar. Yeah, no, I'm not worried. I'm happy with the performance of the boys. But let's look at the fresh team, how he struggled. I thought maybe it was going to be a difficult team for the boys. Yeah, but they played. I can't complain.
Coach, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the best in the plate semi-final against Madagascar.
You're welcome.
That's Coach Mpote there, talking about how the team managed to handle the game in both halves, especially knowing the fact that fatigue came to picture as they were facing the Chipolopolo boys, that is Zambia. And with me right now is Moses Sichone, the assistant coach to Aliosa Sadovic. Coach, what a game. What a win for you. How do you put it in words?
A big compliment to my team. They did well in terms of our tactics, exactly like the way we planned. We knew Botswana, they have been playing games and they were in good form. Also, I have to congratulate the Botswana team. They have done well. So I think the fans, they have seen 2 sides. We more especially the first half. There were a lot of entertainment here on the pitch, and I think the boys, they have done their best. Looking at from the time that we started preparations, they are just coming from the off season. So a big compliment to the players, and I think this is the way forward.
Coach, you missed a number of chances in both halves. How do you hope to correct that going into the semi-final against Namibia?
I mean, this is part of football. I mean, so you learn through mistakes. So we just need to encourage the boys. You know, this is a young team. So, I mean, we hope to do better against Namibia.
Coach, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That's Moses Sichone, assistant coach to Aliosa Hasanovich, the Chipolopolo coach, and obviously talking about how the team managed to beat Botswana in reflection to the second 45, games that we've seen in as far as the game is concerned. Talk about the results in reflection to the quarter-finals. Madagascar losing to Namibia by 2-0, and Zambia obviously on penalties managing to beat Botswana after a 1-0 draw in duration time. A fantastic game it was, and obviously we did see the chances that were created by both sides, and would love to see more as the tournament unfolds. For now, we are talking about the fixtures that will come through in reflection to the quarterfinals. Senegal will be up against Eswatini. This is the repeat of last year's COSAFA Cup quarterfinal, and South Africa will be taking on Mozambique. That is another game that will be fiery. You should expect a lot in reflection to the quarterfinals of the Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup 2022. It's been an amazing journey so far, and we are promising you more as the boys walk onto the field of play to give us what they know what to do. The entertainment, the chances, the great goals that we've seen, and we'll definitely continue seeing them. From myself, Gaspar Ngulube, and on behalf of everyone involved in this production, to you, for being part of us, we are saying Tatokoza.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Sports Wrap on